What's going on, guys? Tristan24 here. Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today is the big one. Today I've got for you my Championship 2022-23 table predictions. That is right, the big one is here, guys. The one you've all been waiting for all summer, and I've got it for you today. Of course, the season kicks off this Friday, which is tomorrow, so I'll try and get this video out today on the Thursday. But I'm so excited for Championship football to return, guys. The best league in the world is back, guys, this weekend. And I've got my predictions for how the table is going to end. So don't be offended by any picks. These are just my predictions. And they're my predictions for a reason, not yours. So leave yours in the comment section down below. I'm really interested to see, though, what you guys are thinking ahead of the season. Let me know who you support as well. And yeah, here we go then. Let's get into it. Before we do, drop a like and subscribe. Here we go. 24th, no one likes to be there, but for me, it's going to be Wigan Athletic. They've signed Ryan Iambi, but it's not going to be enough. They've got a few good players in there, which helped them win League One last year, but I'm not seeing enough from Wigan. I'd love for them to stay up. I can't see it happening. In 23rd, I have got the team that comes second in League One last season, Rotherham. I'd love them to stay up, but they've replaced Freddie Ladapo with Tom Eaves up top and haven't really done too much. They've got, of course, Ogbene, who's a brilliant player, but for me, they won't have enough to survive. I love Paul Warne and Rotherham. I'd love for them to stay up, same as Wigan, but for me, they're going down. In 22nd, I've gone for Blackpool. Losing Neil Critchley is mainly influenced to this. I don't know why Neil Critchley's left for Aston Villa, just to be number 2 to Stevie G. No idea why he's done that, but oh well. And I think the signing of Rhys Williams is a decent one, not the greatest one. He was on loan at Swansea last season. He wasn't great. A big aerial threat though. Of course, the new manager, Michael Appleton, as well. It'll be interesting to see how he does, but for me, I don't think they'll do too well. And many of you know I have a bit of a soft spot for Blackpool, so this is completely not biased, but I think Blackpool are going down. In 21st, just surviving the drop, is the Blues. They've had the new takeover, so hopefully there'll be no more tennis ball protests this season at St Andrews. But in the transfer window, they haven't really done a lot, have they? Eustace, the new manager, we'll have to see how he does. Of course, number 2 to Mark Warburton at QPR, I'm pretty sure he was last season. So interesting to see how he does, but I don't think very well, but they'll stay up for me. In 20th, I've got Reading. Now, they've made a few good signings. Shane Long will be a big player for them in their hopes to survive, as well as Lucas Jow. Paul Ince, the manager. I'm pretty sure with Thomas, one of them plays up top, one of them's the manager. I get confused. I think they'll be gone by Christmas and replaced by someone with a bit of experience like Tony Pulis, dare I say, and they'll keep Reading up for the skin of their teeth with Birmingham. It's really hard to call this relegation zone and survival. These 5 teams, I wouldn't be surprised if any of them switch positions, really. I think they all have a chance of staying up and going down, but this is how it is for me. In 19th, I've got the playoff winners. I have got Sunderland to finish there. They've splashed 7 million out on Jack Clark, and I haven't really seen them do too much otherwise. They've tied down Lyndon Gooch again to a new contract. They've got Ross Stewart still at the club. A few other really good players. I think Sunderland will stay up. They're a massive club, and yeah, can't wait to see them back in the Championship. In 18th, I've got the playoff losers of last season, the team that got defeated in the final, Huddersfield Town. Carlos Corberan, Lewis O'Brien, and Harry Toffolo leaving is just like what happened at Barnsley last season. They lost Ismail Mowat and someone else, I'm pretty sure, and they did awful. So I think something in the same footsteps is going to happen to Huddersfield. I don't think they're going to do very well. They've appointed their ex-winger as the manager, so I have to wait and see how that goes. Not too convincing from the outside, but I'm all up for new managers and giving them chances in the Championship, just like Swansea have done in recent years with Graham Potter, Steve Cooper, and now Russell Martin. So I like what Huddersfield are doing. I just don't think it'll work out as well as they would like it to. So for me, Huddersfield 18th. 17th, I've gone for Cardiff City. They've signed a lot of players. I think it's 12 or 13, but they've only signed like 3 or 4 good ones. Rinyamita, Cedric Kipre on a loan, Sheojo. That's probably about it really. The rest for me are League One quality, and you've only got to look at the goalkeeper Ryan Allsop to see that. The last 2 seasons he's been relegated consecutively with Derby County and Wycombe Wanderers. Let's hope this season it's with Cardiff. But no, for me, Cardiff going to finish in 17th place. Decent season, not what they want, but it's what they're going to get. In 16th, Bristol City. Now, last season, the main concern for them was the defence, but they've sort of sorted that out with Kane Wilson and Kai Naismith joining the club. Hopefully that will sort out their back line. It's not the strongest of defences, even with them in, but I think it will be improved. Daniel Bentley as well, brilliant goalkeeper. And then you look up the pitch, you've got Hando Masengo, who could stay at Bristol, hopefully for them. And then the front three of Semenyo, who they've rejected big bids for, which is really promising if you're a Bristol City fan. Andreas Weimann and Chris Martin, of course. So it's a decent 11 for Bristol. They haven't got too much quality in the depth, but for me, 16th for them, but they could easily go higher. I'm just very unsure if they're any better with that team and how consistent they can be compared to the teams I've put above them, which is the only reason I've put them 16th. In 15th, I've gone for Blackburn Rovers, new manager, but they're keeping Ben Brereton Diaz as it stands, although it does look inevitable. He will depart Ewood's Park by the end of the transfer window. They've got a few really good players like Thomas Kaminski, who is the keeper, of course, but not a lot of quality in that Blackburn side. It's very average, new manager in as well. We'll see how he does. So I've put them in the middle, 15th. But for me, they could easily go up a few places or down a few places, but I've put them in the middle. In 14th, I've gone for QPR. Michael Beale, the new manager, I'm pretty sure it is. There's so many new managers, it's hard to know who's gone where. But for me, QPR finished in 14th. Ilias Chair, Seni Dieng, Barbe, Adoma, Lyndon Dykes. Who else have I forgotten? Johansson. It's a really good Rob Dickey as well. They've got a lot of good players in that team, QPR. I don't think they'll do as well as they did last year when they were in the playoffs mix and then fell out, of course, at the end. But I think they'll have a decent season. Of course, they've signed Taylor Richards from Brighton on loan, something like that, which is quite exciting for them as well. But for me, QPR 14th, but it could easily, once again, be a lot higher. In 13th, I have gone for Stoke City. The sign of Dwight Gale really is exciting for them, and I think he'll do really well in the Stoke City team. Ben Wilmot at the back. They've lost Joe Allen in midfield, their captain, which would be interesting to see how they cope without him. And also Tommy Smith as well. So really unsure on Stoke. The last 2 seasons they finished in 14th, but this season I think they'll finish 13th. In 12th, into the top half now, I have gone for Hull City. They've lost their main man, King Lewis Potter, but they've brought in a lot of Turkish players. Tufan, and that's like the only one I can pronounce. All the other ones, do not ask me to pronounce them. I'll get it wrong for sure, and I'll end up sounding completely different. But I think Hull are going in the right direction. It's quite exciting for them and their supporters under the new owners as well. So I think it'll be a promising season for Hull. Not quite pushing the playoffs, but I think they could be in the mix up until the last 8 match weeks, probably. Something like that. But Hull, definitely an improvement on last season. In 11th, I have gone for Preston North End. Signing of Robbie Brady, Freddie Woodsman. They've also got links to... No, they've signed that Manchester United wing back, which is really exciting for them as well. Ben Woodburn as well. So really good business from Ryan Lowe's Preston at the moment, and keeping hold of Emil Rees as well and Daniel Johnson. So it's a good team that Preston are building. Will they have enough to get the playoffs? I'm not too sure. I think they'll be in the push, sort of like Hull, but just not quite make it. In 10th, I've gone for Coventry City. Now, of course, a brilliant team, brilliant manager Mark Robbins, but I'm just not too sure how they'll do. Last season they did very well, and I was going to predict a bit of a slip-off, but I haven't yet because they've kept hold of Gustavo Hamer, Victor Gyökeres, and of course Callum O'Hare, couldn't think of his name then. But yeah, it's a really good squad, and they've also got Jonathan Panzo on loan from Nottingham Forest, which is seems to be a brilliant bit of business for them. So for me, Coventry 10th, they'll be in the playoff push though and almost make it. In 9th, I've gone for Luton Town. They've signed Corley Woodrow, re-signed him actually. They've also signed Ethan Horvath on loan, which is really exciting for them, and I think they'll have a decent season. Nathan Jones, not as well as last season, because I feel there's a lot more competition for the top 6 this season and promotion. I think they'll still have a good season. 8th, I've gone for Millwall. Zian Fleming replacing Jed Wallace is the big one. Millwall breaking their record transfer fee. Also signing James Shackleton, and they've got a few other brilliant players as well in that team. So I think Millwall really could be a dark horse for the playoffs this season. Wouldn't be too surprised if they got it. I think they'll just miss out. But I like the way that Millwall are going. They're going in the right direction. In 7th, this is a bit of a big shout really. I've gone for Watford. Now, last season coming down, there was just so much negativity around the club, and it looks like either Sarr or Dennis will leave the club, and for me, they haven't got the greatest squad like Burnley, Middlesbrough, Sheffield United, Norwich, like them sort of teams. I just don't think they're matching up, to be honest. They've got glimpses of quality here and there, but altogether there just doesn't seem to be a good feel around Watford at the moment. And for me, I think it'll be too late for them to push for the playoffs. I think they'll have a slow start, and that's why they're missing out on the playoffs for me. In 6th, this could be seen as biased, but I genuinely do think it. Swansea City for the playoffs in 6th place. Whether we'll win them or not is another question, but I think we'll do really well this season and get into the top 6. Joe Allen replacing Flynn Downs is arguably a like-for-like change and gaining 14 million. Of course, Joe Allen a bit more older, but he has experience, of course. I think it'll be a really good season for us, keeping Michael Obafemi, keeping Joe Pirou, Jim Patterson. That's arguably one of the best front threes in the division. So I think it's really exciting for the Swans this season. I think we're going to get the top 6. Also, Harry Darling, how have I not even mentioned him? Just so shows how good our transfer window has been so far. 5th place, I have gone for West Brom. Everyone's saying about Steve Bruce, but he's done well in the Championship before. They've got the likes of Daryl Dyke, Alex Moore, Jake Livermore. They've got John Swift, who's brilliant at creating chances, which is what Grant wanted and Robertson wanted the supply last season, which is part of the reason why they didn't do so well last year, because of the lack of creativity. And they've also signed Jed Wallace, so I think it's a lot of exciting moves for West Brom, and I think they'll get the playoffs this season, which is what they probably should have done last season. But West Brom getting 5th. In 4th place, I have gone for newly relegated. Sort of makes sense, but not quite what I wanted to say. Anyway, it's Burnley, finishing 4th. Vincent Kompany, he's never managed in the Championship before, of course. He did well in Belgium with Anderlecht, I'm pretty sure it is, and basically just signed a load of players he worked with there. There's a lot of quality in it with the likes of Cullen, Twine as well as a big standout player. Really excited to see how he does, and many others in this Burnley side. So I think they're finishing 4th. Could easily be higher, but I think with a lack of experience in the Championship for Vincent Kompany, I think they'll have a slow start, sort of like Watford, but I think Burnley make up for it and they will have a good season. In 3rd, I've gone for a big shout here. Norwich City. No, they're not going to win the league this year. Dean Smith, he's of course been promoted with Aston Villa before, and Norwich, the team is decent, very good, but not as good as it has been before. Of course, under Daniel Farke, they had Buendia, Pukki, a lot of players that were very good, and they've got a few of them now, but I think the squad's a bit weaker. And I don't look at Norwich this season and think, wow, yeah, definitely winning the league or going straight back up, because I don't. I think they'll struggle a little bit and finish 3rd for me. Pukki, I don't think he'll do as well as everyone's saying he will, but they've got the likes of Adam Ida coming through as well. Cantwell, they've still got brilliant backline with Aarons, Hanley, Gibson, I think it is as well, Krul as well, so a really good team. The midfield's lacking a little bit, but overall Norwich, very good team, but they'll finish 3rd. Which leaves my top 2 very interesting. 2nd place, I've gone for Sheffield United, meaning I think Middlesbrough will win the league. We'll get onto that in 1 second. Sheffield United missing out on promotion through the playoffs last season, but this season, a whole season with Paul Heckingbottom, who is a really good manager for me. I really rate the guy. Ryan Brewster, a load of potential there. A really good goalkeeper in Wes Foderingham. Kieran Clark coming from Newcastle as well, so really good team. Sander Burge is still there, so a really good team for Sheffield United. I think they'll do really well this season and get the top 2. Winning the league for me then, as I said, is Middlesbrough. Chris Wilder has got plenty of Championship experience with promotion as well with Sheffield United. And the only thing they're lacking right now is a striker, which I think they will get. They got Zach Steffen on loan from Man City, which is a massive, massive signing. I think he'll do bits in the Championship. Isaiah Jones, they've got Ryan Giles, who's brilliant as well. A really good team, and I think they'll win in the league if they get that striker in. This is based on them getting a big striker in, like they did last season, but better. The link to Thomas Henry for £8 million, which will be a massive signing, and I think that's exactly what they need, to be honest, Middlesbrough. For me, if they get Thomas Henry, they're winning the league, and that's what I'm predicting. Middlesbrough to win the league. So guys, they are my predictions for the 22-23 Championship season. Leave yours in the comment section down below. I'll read every comment and reply to it, of course. But yeah, let me know who you support, what you're thinking ahead of the new season, your top 6 and bottom 3, where you think your team will finish as well. If you've enjoyed the video, do drop it a like and subscribe. Share it around with your mates, and I'll see you in the next one very soon, guys. The Championship is back. Come on. Cannot wait, guys. And I'll see you in the next video very soon. Until then, guys, take care. Goodbye.